Now, former chief presidential speechwriter for George W. Bush and Fox News contributor Mark Thiessen, and Mark Hanna, who was a campaign aide for both the Obama and Kerry presidential campaigns. Good to see you both.
Good
Mark
to see you,
Thiessen,
Megyn.
let me start with you.
Good to see you, Megyn.
The president comes out and says it's sad, really. It's sad, this tone, and I guess the substance as well, that are used by a presidential candidate. Your thoughts?
Well, in terms of the tone, this is coming from the same president who has been going out and saying every day that whoever opposes this deal wants to have war with Iran. So spare me the outrage about the state of our political discourse. But in terms of the substance, look, I wouldn't have chosen the words that Governor Huckabee did, but he's right. It is a fact that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, it will have the capability to literally annihilate the state of Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that this deal will pave the way to an Iranian nuclear bomb. A poll on Friday showed that 71% of Israelis agree with him. So if you agree with that, then what Governor Huckabee said is inarguably true.
What was it, Mark Hanna? Was it the actual words, which are shocking to hear, or was it the tone in which he said it?
I think the fact that anytime somebody brings up Nazis or the Holocaust or Hitler to make inflammatory remarks to try to denounce your political opponent, we have to take a step back and realize what we're talking about here.
But let me just ask you, and I'm going to let you finish the point. Let me just ask you, because the distinction here, because people do use that Nazi rhetoric.
Right.
But the distinction is here is he is actually talking about the annihilation of the Jews by their enemies. It's not like, oh, you're talking about these protesters are like Nazis. It's something out of... He's saying this deal is going to lead to their mass annihilation.
Right. Well, I think that's tremendously offensive to the majority of American Jews who, frankly, want Congress to support the president's deal with Iran. And that is a poll by the Jewish Journal. So either Mike Huckabee thinks that those people want to be led to the door of the oven, or he just doesn't believe, he thinks they're imbeciles or insane somehow. I mean, the thing that's really frustrating is that there's a time for civility, and civility is not a luxury. There was a rabbi who actually is opposed to this deal with Iran, writing in Time magazine, who basically said, look, it's a free country. We're free to compare our elected leaders to Hitler and the Nazis if we want, but it's disgraceful to do so, which is why Jeb Bush has, frankly, and denounced it. It's frankly why Governor Pataki has come out and denounced it.
Was that a comparison by Governor Huckabee of our president, Barack Obama, to Adolf Hitler?
No, it was a comparison of Iran to the Nazis.
No, he said the president would walk them to the door.
This deal is walking them to the door of the oven, is what he's saying. And look, the reality is the difference between the Nazi regime and Iran is that Iran does not yet have the capability to kill on the scale commensurate with its hatred. A nuclear weapon would give Iran that capability.
Mark,
Hitler made clear his desire to annihilate the Jews. The Iranian regime has done the exact same thing.
Right.
They said Israel has no cure but to be annihilated. The Zionist regime is a cancerous tumor and it will be removed. This regime, if you believe this agreement is going to pave the way, as Prime Minister Netanyahu said, to an Iranian nuclear weapon, then the conclusion is inescapable.
Go ahead, Mark.
Governor Huckabee has every right to denounce the inflammatory comments made by Iranian politicians to stir up the extremist elements of the Iranian public. But he does not have the right to use inflammatory comments to stir up the extremist elements of his base in doing so. He's basically becoming what he despised. And let's pray that two sets of politically ambitious hotheads in Iran and the United States don't lead us to war. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
But now, are you comparing Governor Huckabee to the lunatics in Iran who live to kill Israel? Because now you're doing it, right? Because it's like Governor Huckabee often uses colorful language.
Right.
Maybe not as colorful as some of the female anchors on, but I'm just saying he uses colorful language in a different way. Is this him trying to make an important point in a way that will get him attention, Mark Thiessen? Or is this a man who wants to be on the presidential debate stage next Thursday and is doing something to make headlines?
I think it's probably both. I think he's making an important point and he's trying to get attention, but he's also trying to counter what Mark just did, which is dismiss this idea that the Iranians, when they say these things, are just trying to rile up their hardliners. They believe it, Mark. They believe these words. We dismissed Adolf Hitler's words in the 1930s, and we paid a terrible price for it. It is. You cannot, when people make their intentions clear, you cannot dismiss them or you pay a terrible price.
Great to see you both. Thank you.